Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 20th Annual Stanford Asian American Awards ceremony. The performance you have just witnessed is Kayumangi. Kayumangi is the artistic arm of Stanford's Filipino American Student Union. My name is Diana Kong, and my co-MC tonight is Caitlin Cho. We're both fresh interns at the Asian American Activity Center, and we're excited to be your hosts for tonight's ceremony.
The advisory board of the Asian American Activity Center created this awards ceremony to bring the campus community together and celebrate the accomplishments of amazing and talented individuals. The recipients represent the exceptional activists, educators, researchers, and leaders affiliated with Stanford. They were selected by the advisory board for their significant contributions to Stanford and the Asian American community. Thank you for joining us tonight and acknowledging the achievements and contributions of our recipients.
To start us off, we would like to invite Cindy Ng, Associate Dean and Director of the Asian American Activity Center, to give us a warm welcome.
Never been welcomed by a bird before. Good evening and welcome. 2019 is a year of milestones for the Stanford Asian American community. Tonight marks the 20th anniversary of this awards event. Yes. We started awards 20 years ago to recognize the achievements of Asian American faculty, staff, alumni, and students. Despite the model minority myth, our contributions are often undervalued and overlooked. I am looking now at our RD&E colleagues who, along with the Munger staff, it would not be possible to have this event without the work that they do, often behind the scenes, so thank you. '19 also marks the 25th anniversary of the AIM mentoring program. AIM was created by our advisory board to provide Asian American undergraduate students with mentors from similar cultural backgrounds, mentors who are able to understand how cultural differences impact a student's experience at Stanford. In the audience tonight are many mentors and mentees, past and present. 50 years ago, the Asian American Students Alliance, now known as ASA, was founded. The Campaign for Asian American Studies at Stanford also began 50 years ago. Nelson Dong, our alumni awardee, was a co-founder of ASA and organized the first Asian American Studies class on campus. Another milestone this year is the 100th anniversary of the Chinese Clubhouse. The Chinese Clubhouse was built in 1919 after a Chinese student was physically thrown down the steps of Encina Dorm by white students. The local Chinese community donated the funds to build the clubhouse where the law school now stands. The clubhouse created a community of belonging and support for Chinese students at a time when there was very little diversity at Stanford and students of color faced blatant racism. The legacy of the clubhouse is present in the room tonight. Professor Jean Tsai, there you are. Her father, Professor Chen Tsai, lived in the clubhouse as an undergraduate. One of our past alumni awardees, George Leong, who passed away earlier this year, was also a resident and leader of the clubhouse. In fact, in 2006, George Leong and his classmates raised funds for the AQC because they saw the AQC as a successor to the clubhouse. 2019 also marks the 150th anniversary of the completion of the Transcontinental Railroad. Professors Gordon Chang and Shelley Fishkin led a multi-year effort to document the lives of the 15,000 to 20,000 Chinese workers who laid the western half of the railroad. To quote Professor Chang, "Without the Chinese migrants, the Transcontinental Railroad would not have been possible. If it weren't for their work, Leland Stanford could have been, at best, a footnote in history, and Stanford University may not even exist." There is no doubt the Chinese railroad workers, who were paid less than the white workers and assigned the most dangerous jobs, created the wealth that built this university. These milestones represent our community's historic contributions to Stanford and the nation, and reflect our ability to face challenges with resistance and resilience and to grow stronger in the process. It is on the shoulders of these railroad workers, as well as those of George Liang, Professor Chen Tsai, and the legions of Asian immigrants whose labor built America, that we stand today. As we reflect on this legacy and honor the past that makes the present possible, we are also here to celebrate the work and contributions of our awardees and to express our gratitude for their activism and commitment to community, to equity, and to justice. Thank you all for being part of our community and taking the time to join us tonight in celebrating the purpose, dedication, and accomplishments of our recipients. Thank you also to our advisory board, Gerald Adamos, Latana Thabaseth, and our student staff, and our amazing Frosh interns, Diana and Caitlin, Brittany and Winnie, who organized this event and didn't even break a sweat. Thank you and enjoy the evening.
Thank you, Cindy. Without further ado, we would like to begin the awards portion of our program with the Faculty Award. This year, our faculty recipient is Marcy Kwan, an assistant professor of Stanford's Art History Department and a faculty affiliate of the Center for Comparative Studies in Race and Ethnicity, Asian American Studies, and the Center for East Asian Studies. Here to present Professor Kwan with the Faculty Award is Dr. Jean Tsai, Professor of Psychology in the Department of Psychology at Stanford University, Director of the Stanford Culture and Emotion Lab, and the Director of the Asian American Studies Program.
Well, good evening. I love this event. It's my favorite event of the year, and it's so great to see everybody here. Before I start, I just want to take a quick moment, because this isn't on the program and they run a tight ship, to say thank you again to Cindy, Gerald, Latana, and the amazing students who've put together this event. They always make it look effortless, but it is so effortful, and it's just so much hard work. So I just want to make sure that we give them another round of applause for all of their hard work. Thank you. And then I also want to say a special thank you to Cindy for being the center of Stanford's AAPI community throughout the year for so many years, 28 years to be exact. Every year I'm afraid that she's going to retire, and then where would we be? Where would we be without Cindy Ng? So please, let's give her especially another round of applause. Thank you, Cindy. Where is she? Okay. I'd like you to just, when you see her, give her a hug, thank her for everything, and tell her not to retire. Okay, so now on to the Faculty Award. It's really my great pleasure to introduce this year's Faculty Award recipient, Marcy Kwan. As you heard, Marcy is an assistant professor in art and art history here at Stanford and a faculty affiliate of the Center for Comparative Studies on Race and Ethnicity, Asian American Studies, and Modern Thought and Literature. She received her BA, her MA, and her PhD at NYU. But before that, she grew up in sunny Irvine, California, and went to University High School, which just happens to be my alma mater as well. But I won't tell you how many years difference there is between us. Marcy's research and teaching interests include the intersection of fine art and vernacular practice, theories of modernism, cultural exchange between Asia and the Americas, folk and self-taught art, and issues of race and objecthood. The title of her first book is Enchantments, Joseph Cornell and American Modernism, that's being published by Princeton University Press. And as you can read in the program, her courses include Asian American art, migration, and diaspora in American art. She has already received so many awards. At Stanford, she's received the Annenberg Faculty Fellowship for Outstanding Junior Faculty, the Heffer Faculty Mentor Prize, and the Hellman Family Faculty Fellowship. She also received the University of Pennsylvania Zuckerman Prize, which was awarded to the best dissertation in American art, culture, and history. And her work has received many grants from the ACLS Luce Foundation, the Getty Research Institute, the Smithsonian American Art Museum, the Mellon Foundation, and the Hellman Fellows Fund. And she's held really important positions at the Met, at the Whitney, so on and so forth. But before I turn the podium to her, I just want to read some of the things that her nominators said about her. She was nominated by two students, Jenny Yoon, who's right here, and Beatrice Smigas, and lots of other of her students, who wrote about her exceptional warmth, intelligence, support, and availability. In addition, Jenny wrote, "I believe that Marcy deserves the award for all of the work she has done in the field of Asian American art, paving the way not only for her current students like myself, but for future art historians to further expand the field." Beatrice wrote, "I find Professor Kwan's guidance and sensitivity to narratives of diaspora, race, nationality, and post-colonial studies extremely inspiring for my own practice. It's this that makes me feel that I can talk about the otherness within my own research. Her class helped give me the vocabulary, but what's more, I feel that about what I'm passionate about and the ideas I am pursuing, I believe they have a place in academia, and especially in the main narrative of art history, and that they can be understood even outside the context because they reflect the American experience at large. She's a wonderful asset to the community at Stanford." And I personally couldn't agree more with the nominators. I've been so impressed by Marcy's intelligence, her creativity, and her tremendous energy. And I should say that typically this award goes to faculty who've been at Stanford much longer than Marcy's been. She's only been here for 3 years. So I think this really speaks to her enormous impact, the impact she's already had on her students and the community in the short period of time she's been here. So please join me in congratulating Professor Marcy Kwan.
Wow, I'm kind of floored. Thank you so much, Jean, for that generous introduction. Thank you to Cindy Ning, who's been just absolutely incredible and generous to me even before I got to Stanford, and to all of the students and the committee who've done so much work to make this beautiful event. I'd especially like to thank Jenny Yoon and Indy Chowdhury for being here today, for nominating me, and for just being wonderful interlocutors. And of course, I owe an incredible debt to all the students who've taken my courses over the past 3 years at Stanford. I've seen many of you out there. As I always tell you, I learn as much from my students as they do from me. Since arriving at Stanford, my goal has been to transform the university into the preeminent center for the study of Asian American art. As we all know, the term Asian American was coined here in the Bay Area during the late 1960s by students, much like yourself, who were living through a period of intense violence and turmoil. For me, the term Asian American encompasses so much: my identity, my family, my life, but also this broader history of decolonial anti-racist struggle. Asian American also connotes interethnic solidarity, not only among various ethnic groups that fall under its umbrella, but also among those allied groups, African American, Latinx, Indigenous, who were struggling for self-determination and educational equality at that same moment. That I am standing here at an Asian American Awards ceremony, as we've already heard, is due to the bravery and activism of many of the people who've come before me, and especially the Stanford's University Committee on Minority Issues, who protested the lack of ethnic studies at Stanford in the late 1980s. To study and teach Asian American art in the Bay Area at this particular moment comes with a great deal of possibility and responsibility. When I arrived at Stanford, I surveyed all the major art history programs in the United States that I could think of to see if Asian American art was being taught anywhere. As it turned out, there was not a single program that I found with that course on their curriculum. I was not surprised by this. During graduate school, I was actively discouraged from thinking and writing about quote-unquote race. And the field of art history remains conservative. But in doing this work, I hope to change that from the inside out. Since coming to Stanford and developing the Asian American art course, one of my students has taught at UC Riverside, and I've collaborated with another professor at UC Berkeley to bring the course there. And the Cantor Art Museum has recently committed to make Asian American art a major area of its collecting, and will soon announce a series of very exciting major acquisitions. For me, this work is less about building a field, but about showing and honoring all the artists who have been overlooked for so long. As it turns out, Asian American artists were not simply on the margins, but actively contributing to some of the most important art historical discourses of the moment. When I am feeling despair about the state of the world, I often look to the example of these artists. They too struggled, but they transformed the struggle into material form. In doing so, they articulated the questions, feelings, and alternative paths that remain unarticulated in the wider culture. This, to me, is the study of the promise of studying art. In encountering a work of art, one encounters a specific person's experience of the world. In art, one finds those ways of being, surviving, and living that are not articulatable in any other form. I see in a single brushstroke, a single pen line, all the pain and possibility of being a person of color and an artist. Art reminds us that we are not alone and there are infinite ways to be in the world. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Kwan, for your exploration of diverse identities in art and your leadership inside and outside the classroom. Our next awards of the night are the Staff Awards. These awards honor members of the Stanford community who are crucial to daily life on campus and all that they do. Our first Staff Award recipient is Sophia Kim. Sophia joined the Haas Center for Public Service in the fall of 2016 to implement and oversee a new high school mentoring program. Here to present Sophia with the Staff Award is Cindy Cho, Human Resources Manager in the School of Humanities and Sciences and Chair of the Asian Staff Forum.
Good evening, everyone. Today it is my honor to introduce this year's recipient of the Staff Award from the Asian Staff Forum, Sophia Kim. As mentioned, Sophia works in the Haas Center as the high school program director, but also works to ensure that she serves the Asian American community here at the university. Her nomination highlighted her work with AIM, a program through the Asian American Activity Centers, which matches students with mentors with similar cultural backgrounds. At the Haas Center, she serves as the chair of the Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Committee focused on recruiting more diverse staff to the university, and particularly to the Haas Center. Her nominator highlighted her background in working in ethnic-based organizations in Boston's Chinatown and the greater Boston area, which has brought valuable perspective to Haas. Sophia's work has allowed students to engage in discussions about how identities interact with service, and her leadership has led people, especially those in the Asian American community, to be more comfortable to share and to be challenged. I also reached out to some of Sophia's colleagues for comments, and they sent me the following. She models holistic, thoughtful engagement with students and colleagues, taking into account their life experiences and school and work contexts to develop supportive systems and processes. She is undaunted by challenges and seeks to connect with others to creatively problem solve. She has helped Haas to identify areas of growth and efficiently created new material and implemented best practices, enabling everyone to better support students to be civically engaged. She is a dynamic educator and presents content in a thoughtful and interactive ways that keep students engaged. She makes time to affirm students and their colleagues. She listens and validates their concerns, but also allows them to be empowered. But Sophia is also warm, kind, will hold you accountable, but she is also a fantastic representation of how staff can serve the Asian American staff and student community at Stanford. So thank you for Sophia for all that you do. Everybody, I'd like to introduce you, Sophia Kim.
Thanks so much, Cindy, for that introduction, and thanks everybody for being here. I'd like to thank the ACUBC Advisory Board and Flora, I know one of the students who nominated me for this great honor. I've been thinking a lot since I got notified of this award about what this recognition means to me. And what I keep coming back to is the importance of community and connection. I find it easy to see all the injustice and oppression in this world and can often get bogged down by it. But being here with all of you in this community reminds me that we can find hope in the infinite web of connections we have with each other, both inside and outside this room. I hold many people in my heart today and every day, truly grateful for and humbled by the love and care they have for me and others, family, friends, new and old, people of all ages I've met and worked closely with in the past and here at Stanford. I especially want to recognize some people, Dominic and Oliver, who couldn't be here today because Oliver's bedtime is at 7:30. Priscilla, my dear colleague, who models radical love, accountability, and living to create another possible world. And my students who are sitting at table 8 over there, who are committed to our work and our relationships and our shared values. Thank you so much to the ACUBC community and for creating this space for us to be here today.
Congratulations, Sophia. Thank you for your dedication in establishing a strong network and a culture of mentorship in the Stanford community and beyond. The next staff award recognizes Zhao, an incredible chef and crucial part of Stanford's residential and dining enterprises, also known as R&DE. Introducing Chef Zhao is Curie Sevilla, Stanford Conference Services and Filipino American Community at Stanford.
Good evening, everyone. Hello. I would like to see a show of hands. How many of you have tasted pancit? Okay, I see a lot of hands. Well, pancit is a type of noodle that originated in China, but pancit actually originated in the Philippines, most likely brought over from settlers originating in China or East Asia. There are about 68 types of pancit in the Filipino food glossary. Let's see if our chefs over here can have a comment about that. And I bet any Filipino can tell you at least 5 types of pancit, if you ask. Pancit is served in almost all Filipino celebrations as it has come to symbolize long life. I thought of pancit when I was preparing to introduce our awardee tonight. Like this awardee, pancit is a humble dish, but it is made spectacular by the many culinary styles, influences, and ingredients that have made it the superstar in every Filipino feast. Several years ago, I was asked by the Filipino American community at Stanford to be part of a talk. It's a professional development lunch series, and they said, "Hey, Curie, why don't you talk about your work at residential and dining enterprises?" And while I was humbled by that request, I thought that I think there were more amazing people in my department, and nothing can be more amazing than our Filipino chefs. They're over here now. I would like to acknowledge them. If there was a team award, it belongs to our chefs. So that day, after telling facts that, oh gosh, I don't think I want to be a speaker in a panel, I dropped by Gerhard Casper Dining Hall, and I went to Chef Zhao, my favorite chef and friend. And I asked him, were you interested in speaking about your work over lunch? He got really excited. And what he did was extremely unexpected. He rallied the entire culinary and dining team and created an amazing feast to celebrate Philippine Independence Day. What was supposed to be a simple event attended by 10 to 12 staff members turned out to be a delicious feast of Filipino dishes attended by close to 100 faculty, staff, and students. Sorry, no, don't worry, Mr. Montel, food cost, I understand. They assured me that everything was fine. During that spectacular meal, because I guess people started texting each other about Filipino food in Gerhard Casper Dining Hall, we asked our chefs to describe their food, and I recall Zhao talking about his pancit and the memories of his childhood growing up in his mom's kitchen as a young boy rolling lumpia in his mom's catering company. Born and raised in San Francisco and graduated from the California Culinary Academy, he joined the Schwab executive dining team under his mentor, Chef Raul Lacara. Whose leadership, along with our executive director, Eric Montel, also in the audience, has made the Schwab Executive Dining Service the #1 ranked executive dining program in the world. That deserves an applause. So just a little plug because the rest of my coworkers are here, so just, but anyway, going back to how that kind of atmosphere where Zhao started as a temp chef under Chef Raul's mentorship, he rose from the ranks. And years later, he has become executive chef of Gerhard Casper Dining. Every day, Chef Zhao celebrates our rich diversity in the steaming hot kitchens and the sprawling dining halls of Stanford University. He enriches the campus community by his enthusiasm and warmth, touching the lives and palates of faculty, staff, students, even the Stanford football team. He infuses his delicious food with love for culture, evoking memories of the homeland for some of us longing for home, while creating new ones for those trying Filipino cuisine for the first time. He continues to bridge understanding with others, fostering acceptance for each other's differences, and living in the age of Charlottesville, we need more people like Zhao. On behalf of the Filipino American community at Stanford, and Amy Diego Dubose, who actually nominated Chef Zhao. So Amy, you gotta thank Amy. It is my great honor to introduce my dear friend, colleague, and this year's Asian American Staff Awardee, Chef Zhao Ginto.
Hi, everybody. Sorry, I'm a little nervous, but thank you, Kiri, for where'd you go, Kiri? Thank you, Kiri, for our collaborations together, not just with our Filipino community, just with our students and faculty in general, just getting everybody together. That is very important to me because food does bring everybody together. It brought everybody here together. So thank you for being here, enjoying the food. Thank you to Dr. Shirley Everett, Senior Associate Vice Provost, to Eric Montel, our Executive Director, Bob Hanahan, our, excuse me, sorry, I'm so nervous. Our Assistant Director, Cleo Wells, our Assistant Director, and Chef Christina Betondo, our Assistant Culinary Director. Thank you so much for allowing me to do what I do with our staff, with our culinary team. It's very, it's very important, and I'm super passionate about like teaching, mentoring the younger generation, because they are the future, you know. So we have to do, I try to do a better job with whatever we can to make sure that we are doing a great job and making sure they understand where we want to go and where we want to be later on in the future. Why'd you look? Sorry. Thank you to my family, my beautiful family over there, my mom, my dad. My little dude, James, he is 11 months, Jay? Yeah. And my brother, who's been one of my biggest supporters from being in the Marine Corps. When I was in culinary school, we were super supportive of each other coming into like right after high school. We're like kind of like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm going to culinary school. I'm going to the Marine Corps. We all did our same thing, and you know, he's like one of my biggest supporters. As long as like my dad, he's like my hero. Thank you so much to the culinary team. Sorry. Our culinary team, so respectable. I mean, I honestly think we could stand up against any of the Michelin star restaurants in the country, in the world. We have such a great talent that's sitting down right here. I was so nervous because I was telling my brother, and a lot of my colleagues know this, that like my brother's one of the most impatient people for eating food. Like he wants food right away. And when I come home, he's like, "Why are you hungry?" I'm like, "I've been working all day. I don't really have time to eat." So I'm like, I want to tell him to like, you know, talk to all my colleagues, my peers, to see, you know, when they come home, they just want like fried eggs and rice. I mean, that's probably the most typical Filipino dish or Asian dish that anyone can think of. But one of the things that I really definitely wanted to say is that I'm super proud to be part of R&D, Stanford Dining, to be part of this organization that we are changing the lives for not just students, faculties, families that are on here, our RFs. I mean, we come together, we talk to them, we communicate with them, we tell our story, we listen to their story. We're like a friend, a brother, a son to them. It's so inspiring for me to continue to build these connections. So if there's anything that I would want you to understand, and if you're ever around Gerhard Casper Dining, or just Stanford Dining Hall in general, come say hello to me. I promise I won't bite. I will probably smile at you and be like, hello. And let's continue to build bridges together, share meals together, challenge ourselves to be better, and be kind to one another. Also, congrats to all the award winners. Hats off to you. Super respect for everything that you do and that you continue to do for Stanford in general. My total respect. Hats off to you. Thank you again to everybody. And work hard and dream big. Thank you.
Wow. Congratulations, Chef Zhao. Your commitment to Stanford's community is greatly valued. Our next award honors an alum who serves the Asian American community on and off campus. This year's Alumni Award recognizes Nelson Dong, a Seattle-based partner in the Dorsey and Whitney law firm, heading its national security group and co-leading its Asia group. Introducing Nelson Dong is Selena Kwan, President-elect for the Stanford Asian Pacific American Alumni Club and Stanford class of 1992.
Chef Zhao, that's a hard act to follow. I guess I get the easy job of introducing a guy who needs no introduction. So I'd like to bring out a few points that you might not know from all the things out there, all the firsts that Nelson has given us, a path to follow. So talking to his beautiful and smart daughter-in-law, Wynn, and talking to Will, who they met here on Stanford campus, I've learned that actually Nelson is a wonderful singer and dancer. So should we need additional performance, I'm just saying. Additionally, I was talking to his wife, Diane, and I know that he's an incredible thinker and has a true soft spot for military history. So if we're ever at the library or you've lost him at the bookstore, her point of information was, look for him in military history. After all these years of marriage, I've been successful. Another thing so many of us have experienced with Nelson, myself included, feeling very lucky, is that he's an incredible conversationalist, and he always sets great context for me. He lets me know, especially as it's the 150th anniversary of the Golden Spike, the importance of all of our role, the importance of our community, the importance of family. So while I could talk about the fact that he was Phi Beta Kappa 1971 here at Stanford, the fact that he's one of the heads of the National Securities Group at a major law firm, and even that he co-wrote and established ASA, Okada, the Tea House, and began the push for the Asian American Studies, and followed that up with a law degree from Yale, and co-founded the first Asian American Bar Association. Some other notable achievements, of course, being the first Chinese American lawyer as the White House Fellow, and the first Chinese American to serve as Deputy Associate Attorney General of the US. Not to mention, he was the first Asian American trustee here at Stanford, and twice served on our Alumni Association Board of Trustees nominating committee. And I served on that, and I can tell you, it's a big job. His true success is the family and community he has built. And tonight, I want to acknowledge that his wife, Diane's here, Will's here, Wynn is here, his son, Phil, couldn't be here from Seattle. But really, it's about all our family. And, I think Cindy set the context so well. I want to acknowledge the family that you've started for all of us and why we've done and taken the leadership roles we have. So I want to take this opportunity to acknowledge all the people here who are on the SAPAC board and who have served in the past on the SAPAC board and who hopefully will serve in the future on our SAPAC board. So I'm hoping that at least, I know some of the members are a little more shy, I'm hoping that Nasan, Clara, Mo, Brian, Maria, Marcia, and then Marushka and Lan, who actually served on the committee and the advisory board that put all of this together. I have such gratitude, and I hope we can give a little round of applause or acknowledgement for everybody as we applaud Nelson. So without further ado, I turn over the floor to Nelson.
Thank you very much for that introduction, including some facts I didn't know about myself, especially a part about dancing and singing well. My sister says that I could sing very well inside the shower. So, ordinarily, I would begin with the material in my notes, but Chef Joe's comments made me think back to the fall, or the winter of my senior year at Stanford when I was a sponsor in Branner Hall. And my mother at that time ran a small takeout restaurant in Sacramento in the back of my father's grocery store. And she somehow got it in her head that she should come down to Stanford and bring all of her woks, all of her Chinese cleavers, and a trailer full of Chinese ingredients. And she would cook Chinese New Year's dinner, 8 courses, for all of Branner Hall. by herself. So the food staff at Rattu were very thoughtful and cooperative. She sent them the list of ingredients ahead of time, and so the staff was waiting for her, and she came in and just took over the kitchen. And it was an amazing event that I still remember, and countless students who were there that night remember, even 40, 50 years later. So I really want to echo Chef Zhou's comments about the role of food in being able to bridge and bring people together. But his comments really made me think of my mom's contribution that night. So in accepting this award from all of you and from AQ3, I want to reflect on a couple of things. First, I couldn't be here except for the people that helped me get to this place. I have lived a very full 70 years of life, much of it in government service and in being in international law, doing transactions all over the world. But how did I get there? It was not linear. It was because first, my immigrant parents, Eugene and Nancy Dong, came from China and sacrificed and faced with great courage and great determination a world that was strange, that was foreign, that was sometimes hostile, and filled with prejudice. In spite of that, they raised 3 children, each of whom had 2 college degrees, and gave us the values that we began our lives with. Next, I had wonderful teachers from kindergarten right through Yale Law School. In particular, here, Professor Robert Horn in the Department of Political Science really launched my interest in law and gave me a love for law that carries to this day. So Stanford clearly left its mark here. I have countless colleagues in the legal profession that I owe a debt to, most importantly to Attorney General Griffin Bell in the Carter administration, whom I served as his special assistant. So all of these things make me filled with gratitude so that I could be here today. I'm taking this award not for myself, but for all the people that helped me get to this place. And so I take this Asian American Award not just for myself, but for the generations of students, of staff, of faculty who preceded us, going all the way back, as you heard, to the Chinese Clubhouse in 1919, and to the countless unnamed, brave, hardworking workers who built the Transcontinental Railroad that gave Stanford the money to start this school. We all have to acknowledge our debt to all of those people. My final comment, unfortunately, tonight is not as joyful and is not as happy. It's a sad closing note to all of you. We are in a very unique moment in world history. We have the United States, undoubtedly the most powerful economic and military power in the world. We have a rising China, and we have both those countries today locked in enormous geopolitical and economic tension, the most recent evidence of which were the breakdown in talks that occurred this week that will probably cause huge collision of tariffs and trade disputes in the coming years. In turn, China itself has taken measures within its own political system that represent a real challenge to the Western model that we at Stanford and we in the West have taken for granted for so many years. Their single-party system, their dedication to keeping the exclusive political power inside the Chinese Communist Party is a great political challenge to our value system. And it's not clear that those two systems can exist side by side peacefully and cooperatively in an indefinite way. At the same time, we now have more and more cases of accusations of economic espionage, of spying, of trade secret theft aimed at Asian Americans in general, but especially at Chinese Americans. And I think we're in for some very, very rough times over the next 5 or 10 years. I'm 70, so these are not going to be my struggles. But as I look around this room, I think of these as your challenges for your generation to have to confront and to help our fellow citizens in this country and in the world understand what it means to live together peacefully with dignity and respect. Thank you.
Thank you, Nelson, for your commitment to serving the Stanford and Asian American community. Let's have another round of applause for our faculty, staff, and alumni recipients. Diana and I hold great admiration for the faculty, staff, and alumni in our community. We also hold a great admiration for our fellow students, who are equally outstanding. Some of our peers have made incredible contributions in their short time here at Stanford, and the next portion of tonight's programming seeks to recognize these student leaders of the Asian American community.
First, we are proud to introduce the recipient of the Graduate Leadership Award. This year's Graduate Leadership Award goes to Nick DeViesta. Nick's mission as a leader revolves around two critical issues: mental health and wellness, and diversity, equity, and inclusion. He tackles both of these problems at the Stanford Law School through his leadership within the Stanford Law Association. As co-president, Nick guides the creation of student programming that addresses wellness and diversity both on campus and in the larger legal community. Nick is also a member of the Asian and Pacific Islander Law Students Association and co-president of First Person, a student organization that offers a space for first-person narratives to be shared and listened to. These narratives address topics pertinent to campus life, such as racism and mental health. As his nominator wrote, quote, "Since the election, first-person events have been cathartic and educational for our community," end quote. Nick uses his platforms as a leader in these organizations for the education and betterment of his community at the law school and beyond. And for this reason, we are proud to present him with the Graduate Leadership Award.
So first off, thank you to the, I'm told it's pronounced A-cubed-C for this award. Speaking of, one of the big themes of tonight has been family, and I've been fortunate enough that my dad actually flew down from Seattle to be here tonight. He's had a busy week. Earlier this week, he was down in Olympia for the bill signing of the, I guess it's a bill declaring October Filipino American Month up in Washington State. And so I got a picture in my email that's of Governor Jay Inslee sitting at the table, a group of Filipino Americans surrounding him, and who would it be right behind Governor Inslee except my dad, just standing there in the single best seat of the House. Typical, as one of my Filipino friends said, typical photogenic Pinoy. But the question I'd ask was, and I asked him today when he arrived, which is, Dad, why were you there? You didn't. You weren't involved in the committee organizing this. You weren't you just showed up for the photo op. But I was talking to him, and it was one of his mentors and friends from his childhood Filipino community. Reached out to him and invited him to be there and to take part in that moment. In a way, that sort of question is the question I find myself asking. Here, which is, why am I here? What did I do except talk to the right people to end up here? But then I remember that, as I think Nelson just told us, and as we've heard over and over, that it really is the communities that we have and the friends and family that we have that get us to where we are. And so, yeah, just sort of on that note, I want to thank the staff and faculty of Stanford Law School for helping me to become the person I am today. I don't think I'd be sort of the same person without their support for these past nearly 3 years, tragically, of law school. I want to thank my friends and family, both those who are here tonight and those who couldn't make it, for supporting me through these past few years, and to everyone here in this room for coming together and doing this. I think this is a really special event, and I've been moved by the talk of Ponset already tonight, and it's been a really meaningful experience. So thank you.
Thank you, Nick, for your leadership in cultivating an environment of wellness and inclusion. Our next award is co-sponsored by the Vice Provost for Graduate Education, or VPGE. The VPGE Research and Teaching Award goes to Shadab Hussain. As a PhD student in the Graduate School of Education, Shadab has conducted incredible research on the experiences of bicultural students in higher education spaces. Grounded in the discipline of psychology, Shadab's work focuses on how a more nuanced understanding of biculturalism can allow for more inclusive learning environments in colleges and universities and facilitate the success of Asian American students, particularly South Asian students. Her work has also been crucial in continuing conversations on South Asian identities, seeking to expand the definition of Asian American to include often neglected groups. Beyond her research, Shadab is also a notable leader, serving on national organizing committees for the American Psychological Association for graduate students. Shadab is a diligent researcher, a committed teacher, and a passionate community member who grounds her work in activism. For Shadab's exemplary research, we are proud to award her the Graduate VPGE Research and Teaching Award.
Hello, everyone. I'm so thankful to be here today among all of you and among all these amazing awardees. To be recognized for my research and teaching activities at Stanford is truly an honor, and I thank the awards committee for this privilege. So this award aligns with the end of my program, so there are a few people who I want to thank for helping me get up to this point. First is my advisor, Teresa Laframboise, who from day one, from day one, she's been instrumental to my growth as a researcher. Even though there are times where I wanted to throw the APA-style handbook out the window, her guidance has been instrumental in helping me become a thoughtful and critical research scholar, so thank you so much. I'd also like to thank my friends and colleagues at the GSE. Shout out to Table 6. Really, they've been such a kind and supportive community who have kept me motivated, hardworking, and healthy, and I really appreciate all that you've done for me. Although they weren't able to be here today because they're all the way in Maryland, I would like to thank my family. When I initially started my PhD program, they thought it would take 4 years, and they didn't understand why I was taking so long. But they've really been supportive throughout the 6 years that I've been here at Stanford. And last, I would like to thank all of you here, as well as the ACUBE-C for organizing such a wonderful event. Thank you.
Thank you, Shadab, for your outstanding contributions to research and teaching. Before we announce our undergraduate awards, Diana and I are excited to introduce our second performance of the night, Stanford Bhangra. Bhangra is a traditional dance form originating from Punjab, India, that has now spread worldwide. Please give a warm welcome to Bhangra.
things start with me. You see me?
किस दिल तेरे नैना विच खो गया हाय हौली हौली हुंदा हुंदा पता नहीं की हो गया हौली हौली हुंदा हुंदा पता नहीं की हो
Let's give another hand for Bhangra. The final portion of our ceremony tonight will honor 8 remarkable undergraduate students in our community. These individuals go above and beyond and never fail to inspire us with their dedication and commitment. Our first undergraduate award tonight is the Community Building Award, which conveniently goes to Manisha Rattu. Manisha's commitment to community building shines in her work towards fostering inclusivity, building bridges, and educating larger communities. As a Sanskriti Corps member, she hosted a weekly speaker series and spoken word events that brought members of the South Asian diaspora together. Manisha also revived the Stanford Sikh Association to spread awareness about Sikhism and connect Stanford to larger Sikh groups in the Bay Area. Through SSA, Manisha is a key organizer for Stanford Lori, a celebration of the North Indian Harvest Festival. Moreover, she coordinates Sikh Jewish interfaith dinners, a Gurbani study course, workshops at Listen to the Silence, and more. Balancing the creation of campus-wide conversations and the embracing of her heritage is Manisha's specialty. As one nominator put it, quote, "She is working to create spaces that are accessible to the wider Stanford community while celebrating traditions and identities distinct to Punjab," end quote. For her endless investment in advocating for South Asian identities and culture, we are proud to award Manisha the Community Building Award.
Hello. I wasn't planning on doing this barefoot and with tights under this dress, but you gotta go with it. Also, I'll be honest, I got out of a midterm at 4:30 and then spent an hour getting ready before running over here with Okada staff. So when I was thinking of what to write, I kept thinking about what I tell everyone when they ask me what my favorite part about Stanford is. Also, I'm out of breath and really nervous, so bear with me. So my favorite part about Stanford is obviously the people. For the past 4 years, I found myself drifting, finding my way from one community to the other. I found my first home at Stanford in Casa Zapata, where I learned about solidarity and the value of having ethnic spaces on campuses. I joined Stanford Sanskriti and learned about South Asian activists and artists, all while developing spaces for dialogue and conversation about political identity alongside Maya. Wow, I'm gonna take a moment to breathe for a second here. It's all the nerves. I also jumped my way into Stanford Bhangra, where I found an everlasting community as well as bad knees. But those communities made me realize that I wanted a space where I could narrow in on my Punjabi Sikh identity. And since every Punjabi Sikh on this campus was scattered and still is, I created the Sikh Students Association as a way to consolidate this community. And it has been beautiful since. Another wonderful and literal home I've been blessed to have is Okada. A year ago, I decided to apply for the RA position in Okada because I wanted South Asian folks to look at Okada and say, wow, that can be my home. And hearing some of my South Asian residents say, hey, knowing you were on staff made me feel more comfortable being here has been so rewarding. And as someone who never thought Okada could be my home, I've been proved every single day. I've been proved wrong every single day. I found a home in so many people and places here at Stanford, and I am so thankful for all of them, for helping me learn and grow. Thank you to Edith, John, Jacob, and Ellie for being the most supportive RF family possible. Cindy and Gerald for their continued support these past 4 years, and especially today as I scrambled to find tickets for my parents, because I didn't realize parents could come to this event. As well as Herlene, Como, Jay, and the rest of SSA, my amazing co-staff, Jihyun, Scarlett, Cheng-Hau, Edwin, Juanvi, Pao, and Isabel, Bhangra and Zapata, and my amazing friends. I also want to take a moment to thank my first home, my parents, who are here. And my brother, who isn't. For letting me go off into the world and supporting me even when they didn't quite know what I was doing or why. But they believed in me, and so I believed in me. Thank you.
Thank you, Manisha, for your commitment to uniting and advocating for South Asian communities. The next award of the night is the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award. Our first recipient is Cheng-Hau. Cheng-Hau has played a crucial role in encouraging the exploration and validation of identity on campus and beyond. As an RA for Okada, they are constantly working to create safe, loving spaces in the dorm for queer and trans students. Additionally, they help make queer spaces more welcoming to people of color. When they're not building a more inclusive atmosphere in Okada, they're often at Q-Spot, planning programs and interacting with students. As part of Queer and Asian, or Q&A Core, for instance, Cheng-Hau addresses the intersection of queer and trans issues with API identity through educational, social, and activist events. They have also taught workshops on these topics at the annual Asian American Students Association Listen to the Silence conference. Their roles as an educator and advocate, however, do not stop at the end of the school year. As a Huffington Pride Fellow, for example, they spent the past summer in an internship supporting marginalized communities beyond Stanford. Cheng-Hau consistently and courageously uses their voice and their opportunities at Stanford to lift up queer and trans identities. For this reason, we are proud to honor Cheng-Hau with the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award.
Thank you so much, everybody. Wow, this is really emotional for me. When I first came to Stanford, I didn't really know who I was. I come from an area that doesn't really look like me, that doesn't talk like me, that doesn't have my features, that I think at many times can have very different values. And so when I came to Stanford, I remember just being here during NS that first day and feeling so lost and feeling so alone. And I think it was due to just so many people that I've met since that have changed Stanford from a place that was really wild and foreign and weird to a place where I can now call home. I remember the second night of Stanford, I went to Faces of Community event, and I saw the first other queer Asian person I've ever seen, Sammy Wills. And they honestly changed my world. They showed me that it was okay to be queer, it was okay to be Asian, it was okay to advocate for and stand up for things that I believed in. I want to thank those who came before me, my queer elders, Lily, Sammy, Joe, Ethan, Adori, so many other people who have come and who have faced struggles even harder than I faced and have put in so much labor. And not only that, but also the kindness of just sitting down and talking with me and welcoming me into their communities. I want to thank Okada and very specifically Edith and the RF family for all of the labor they've put in. Thank you, Edith, for teaching me every day what kindness and empathy are. To my co-staff, thank you for all of the labor that you've also put in, for wilding out with me and always listening to my rants. And to my residents for teaching me new ways of being in community and of what it means to be API, what it means to be Asian American, and what it means to be queer. Whenever I think of myself, I don't think of myself merely as an individual. I don't think of myself as someone who is just by themselves. Instead, I think of all the people, all the experiences that I've had that have made me the person I am today. I want to use this time to honor just all of the work that's been done so that I can be here today and I can stand tall and proud and not have to fight and claw my way like just, well, so many generations before me. Thank you to QSR and Q&A and IPASA and all of the students and all of the orgs that have been there for me, that have modeled a way of living and a way of existing that I didn't ever think was possible. And most of all, I'd like to thank my parents for teaching me just how to be me, teaching me kindness and empathy and to always stand up for what I believe in. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Cheng-Hau, for your endless advocacy. Our next award of the night goes to the second recipient of the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award. We are proud to present this award to Maya Acharya. Maya is a trailblazer on campus when it comes to navigating the intersection between queer and South Asian communities. As a frosh, they emceed the inaugural Queer in Brown event, which they continue to work on the following year. They also partnered with Queer Student Resources to put on Sharing Our Stories panels at Stanford, where queer South Asian students shared their narratives with their peers in a safe place and safe space. In addition to their work at Stanford, Maya has also invested a lot of time into organizations like Narika, a nonprofit organization that offers resources and support to domestic violence survivors in South Asian American communities. Maya's work on campus and in the world of service strike an important balance between engaging in discussions and doing the on-the-ground work to enact change. As one nominator wrote, quote, "Their contributions are radical in every sense of the word, and beyond this community-level work, they have made this school and this world a much safer place and a more embracing place," end quote. For their ongoing commitment to create spaces for queer and other marginalized voices and truly change the world for the better, we are proud to present Maya the Gender and Sexuality Issues Award.
Wow, thank you for that kind introduction. I'm a little bit nervous, so bear with me. It's such an honor to be in a room with so many generations of friends and family and with so many different kinds of knowledge. And that was weighing on me when I was thinking about what I could offer to this room that already has so much to offer me. So I decided to turn to another writer so I didn't have to bear that burden myself. So I would like to read to you an excerpt from disability justice scholar Leah Lakshmi Piepsna Sarmasina's book, Care Work. And this is from a chapter on queer organizing. Quote, "We believe that working for justice and healing and creating art on our own terms will be part of what heals our hurt, and it is. But our communities also put enormous pressure on the community-based queer leaders we look to and are. The leadership paradigm that exists within queer and trans social justice communities is that of the movement activist star. And as much as we may critique it, we don't have another one yet," end quote. So to that end, to echo a lot of what has been already said, I would like to thank the people in this room and outside of this room who have been care workers for me and have not only given me support when I've achieved, but when I've been down. Starting with my mom and dad who are here today. And my sister who couldn't be here, and so many people in this room. Thank you so much for being with me not only when I was doing the good things, but when I was doing the bad things and really down too. And what that passage reminds me of, and what is really evident with all the different people in this room here today, is that our movements are not only connected on structural levels, but also on interpersonal levels. And so I want to encourage all of us to continue to do that work of caring for each other, not only at events like this, but on the day-to-day. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Maya, for uplifting queer communities through your meaningful work. Our next undergraduate award is a Public Service Award. This year's recipient is Janzoille Sotero. Janzoille has done incredible work to empower the Filipinx community by collaborating with diverse organizations. As a Frosh intern, and later the co-chair of PASU's Community Service Committee, Janzoille's passion for public service and worker empowerment resulted in her collaborating with Stanford alum Vanessa Ochovillo to implement the Worker Storytelling Project and the Workers Appreciation Barbecue. Janzoille also partnered with the Silicon Valley Workers Project to organize the Santa Clara Festival. Passionate about the cultural engagement and diffusion of knowledge within the Filipinx community, Janzoille also co-led the Filipinx American Issues Alternative Spring Break. She helped raise awareness about the cultural work performed by Bayani Arts and Bindlestiff Studio, connecting art and activism. Beyond that, Janzoille has also been an important leader in the FLY community, implementing the FLY New Student Orientation and orchestrating other necessary programming to uplift FLY students. For her commitment to uplifting the Filipinx and FLY communities, we award Janzoille the Public Service Award.
I'm really overwhelmed, but really happy to be here. So sorry if I sound emotional, because I am. I want to extend the warmest thank you to the AQC and the advisory board for this great honor and for just organizing this space of celebration. Sorry. To LSP and the FLY office, to my FLY family and the crowd, thank you for being my first community here and affirming that I belong at this university. Sorry. It was that sense of belonging that allowed me to find community at Stanford and empowered me to find ways to continually support others. I want to thank Naomi especially. Thank you for being the best co-leader these past 3+ years. This work hasn't been easy, so I was really lucky to have you. And I can't thank my PASU Pamilya and ASB program enough. It was through these communities that I was able to volunteer and eventually lead service projects that I'm truly passionate about. I learned that service education and community building are core to my being and can be integrated together to affect positive social change. Engaging in service has been a key part of my experience here at Stanford and has taught me so much about my identity, history, communities, and even shaped my life trajectory. It's been such an honor to serve the Asian American and broader community with the community, and I know this is only the beginning of it. So, thank you.
Thank you, Janzoille, for illustrating how necessary it is to build up our communities. Our next undergraduate award is the Undergraduate Research Award. This year, we're proud to present this award to Terence Zhao. Terence's exemplary research on the Western San Gabriel Valley complicates preconceived notions of space, urban development, and the role of Asian Americans in the United States. His study focuses on a once predominantly white, affluent suburb that later became home to one of the most highly concentrated Asian American communities in the United States. Through his analyses of census and archival data, Terence contextualizes the changing racial face of the San Gabriel Valley with analyses of the transforming physical space. He examines the conflicts that arise from changes to the built environment, as reflected in the proliferation of boba shops, 99 ranch markets, and ethnic cuisine restaurants. Terence's research is unlike any other and is remarkable in its nuanced perspective on the growth of an Asian American suburb. We are proud to present Terence the Undergraduate Research Award.
Wait, so I have to hold this though? I'm sorry, I'm also very nervous. Can I? Okay, yeah. Right. Give me a second. All right, hi. I'd like to thank first and foremost my grandparents, who are the strongest, wisest, and most resilient people I know. I'd like to thank all the ancestors and all the forebears who have come before us and on whose shoulders we stand. I'd like to thank my advisor, Professor Gordon Chang, who couldn't be here tonight, for all his grace, all his guidance, all his support. Even as I crashed and burned through this entire project. He asked for a final draft 2 days ago, and I haven't responded. Just, yeah. Because it's not there yet. And I'd also like to thank Professors Michael Kahn and Doug McAdam, who have also supported me so much through this journey. And also to all my friends and to this community for all their support. Because if I've talked to you on any occasion within the past 18 months, you'd had to have tolerated me talking about this project with you. And for that, I'm truly thankful. And lastly, I'd like to thank the San Gabriel Valley, the 626, the place that raised me. Oh, nice. The place that raised me and made me into who I am today, and taught me how to be unapologetically Asian, but also what good boba actually tastes like. I wanted this project to be the culmination of all that I've learned here at Stanford, and I wanted to dedicate it to this place, the San Gabriel Valley, and to produce a better understanding of it and also of Asian America. And I hope I have done at least a little bit of that. And I want to leave you with a quote someone shared with me when I was first setting out on this project by T.S. Eliot that has really shaped how I understood this experience to be. We shall not cease from exploration, and the end of all of our exploring shall be to arrive where we started and know that place for the first time. So, thank you.
Thank you, Terence, for your commitment to meaningful research on Asian American communities. Our next undergraduate award is the Performing and Fine Arts Award. This year's recipient is Juliana Chang. Juliana's passion for and investment in the arts spans multiple mediums. Her work as a writer has been highlighted in several magazines, and she herself has been featured in several Bay Area events, such as the Aperture Kearney Street Workshop, an annual multidisciplinary arts festival in San Francisco. Juliana's poetry transcends the paper, however, when she performs with Spoken Word Collective. Through Spoken Word Collective, she hosts writing workshops to help other artists cultivate their poetic skills as well. Just as her writing isn't confined to paper, neither is it to poetry. For instance, as a filmmaker, Juliana has written, produced, and directed films such as Many Names, which won 3rd place in AT&T's Create-a-thon in 2018. In all of these spaces, she explores the meanings of culture, heritage, where we come from, and where we're going. As Juliana's nominator said, quote, "Her work engages with diaspora, migration, language, identity, and manages to appeal both to higher literary sensibilities, but also to so many students on this campus looking for ways to articulate their own struggles with these issues," end quote. For her versatility, creativity, and drive, we are honored to present Juliana with the Performing and Fine Arts Award.
Hi, everyone. I've never had to write an acceptance speech before, so this was definitely a new form of writing for me, so please bear with me. First of all, thank you so much to the ACUPC for organizing this lovely event. It is such an honor to be here and to witness all of the amazing work that goes on in this community. I write a lot about my mom, about our relationship and the ways that it's been impacted by language and immigration, and so I really just want to take this time to thank her truly for her incredible resilience and creativity when it came to raising her children in a foreign country. I'd like to end with a short excerpt from a poem I've been working on recently. It's not done, but hopefully this piece is. Mom like tough-tongued immigrant, like mom spitting broken glass English at the Marshall sales lady who ripped her off, like mom doesn't care if she can't pronounce Estee Lauder, mom filling the whole store with her accent, mom gets the blush and the perfume for free, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Juliana, for your touching words on art and your commitment to activism. Our next award of the night is the Special Achievement Award. This year's award goes to Ian Macato. Ian has been a transformative leader of not only the Asian American community, but the Stanford community at large. As a leader in the Filipino American Student Union, Ian advocated for immigrant rights and environmental justice and was the driving force behind PASU's Filipinx Youth Leadership Conference. His commitment to activism further extends into the FLY community. Ian serves as co-chair for FlyCon, a conference that seeks to empower and provide mentorship to FLY students in higher education. Within the larger Stanford community, he was one of the key organizers of the successful campaign to increase university funding for the community centers, which resulted in additional staffing and resources to support marginalized students on this campus. When referring his impact, Ian's peers call him, quote, an institutional memory, end quote. For his commitment to building up his various communities, we present Ian the Special Achievement Award.
I'm a little nervous as well. Thank you to all the care and labor that went into bringing us all together. And after working this event for the past 2 years, I want to extend special gratitude to Cindy, Gerald, Latana, and my fellow AQC staff and the Paul Brest staff. The Asian American community and the AQC are the places I learned about how to organize for our collective liberation, and how I learned to live with gratitude always. To the FLY office, the Leland Scholars Program, and FLIP for teaching me that being a first-gen and low-income college student is a source of pride. To Okada for trusting me to build an intentional, caring, and political home. To the Filipino American Student Union, who taught me that fighting for justice is about fighting for community. And through these communities, I've seen how collective action and radical belonging leads to a more just world. To my partner, Jans, for being the best source of inspiration always. And to my family, Ma, Ba, and Bao. I'm so grateful for your unconditional love and trust and rooting me in family and God. I want to end with Isang Bagsak, a solidarity clap originating from the 1960s Filipino and Mexican United Farm Workers movement, translating to One Down. It leads us to reflect on how our past will shape our future. Please clap your hands once after I say Isang Bagsak. Ready? Isang Bagsak. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Ian, for your leadership and commitment to creating community and a sense of belonging for all students. Our last award goes to another recipient of the Special Achievement Award. This year, we have the honor of recognizing Janet Chen. Janet has worked to bridge art and Asian American activism, melding the two into meaningful practice. Janet served as editor-in-chief of Static, Stanford's radical literary magazine. Through the use of poetry, prose, and art, Static became a platform to empower marginalized voices and bring awareness to socio-political issues such as indigenous rights and imperialism. Similarly, as a member of Asian American Students Association, or ASA, Janet was behind the first Listen to the Silence zine, creating an outlet for API students to share their narratives through art. Needless to say, Janet has been instrumental in the construction of inclusive, creative spaces. However, Janet is more than just a powerful leader. Many reference Janet as an incredible mentor who has helped guide younger students towards understanding their race, sexuality, and gender identities. For Janet's work, we are proud to present her the Special Achievement Award.
Thank you very much for that introduction. I have a lot of gratitude for this community that's been really patient in teaching me that there are many ways, right ways to show up for people. In my time here, you all have been people I've been alongside in creating publications, in facilitating workshops, working with community organizations, and attending rallies. But more than that, you've been people who ask me how I've been sleeping lately, who bring me food when I haven't eaten, who saw something in my art when I didn't, who offered to help me make my first CAPS appointment, who are gentle with me on days when it's really hard to get out of bed, and who have shown me a love so full and unconditional that I'm learning to be more at peace with myself. More and more, this community's given me people and places where I feel okay with, and I'm growing a capacity to love all parts of myself. I think we do this work person to person of building a possible future that holds all of us. We fight for justice because and for the people we love and would protect at all costs. As I get ready to leave Stanford, I'm beyond grateful for this practice the community has given me, that how we love people is not just a starting point, but an entire foundation of how we imagine and believe in a world in which we are all safe and thriving. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Janet, for your meaningful words and activism on behalf of the Asian American community. Congratulations on your incredible achievement. Please join me in giving another huge round of applause for all of our amazing undergraduate, graduate, faculty, staff, and alumni recipients. Congratulations to all.
Please join us now in welcoming Ragapella, Stanford's premier South Asian focus a cappella group, who will close out our ceremony with the final performance of the night.
Look at the stars, look how they shine for you, and all the things you do. Yeah, they were all yellow. I came along, I wrote a song for you, and all the things you do, and they were all yellow. So then I took my turn. Oh, what a thing to have done, 'cause you were all yellow.
तेरे बिना बेसुआदी बेसुआदी रतिया ओ सजना, तेरे बिना बेसुआदी बेसुआदी रतिया ओ सजना, रूठी रे काटूरे काटे कटे ना, तेरे बिना बेसुआदी बेसुआदी रतिया ओ सजना।
what a thing to do. 'Cause you're all yellow. A June line for you. Oh, what a thing to do. 'Cause you're all yellow.
Thank you, everyone. We hope you enjoyed that. Our next song is called Acharya, and we love it. It's my first song that I sang with Ragapella, so we hope you enjoy.
तेरी वो रफ्तार हो रोके से भी तू ना रुके हासिल कर ऐसा शिकार पर्वत की भी नजरें उठे आशा है आशा है आशा है आशाएं उम्मीदें आशाएं उम्मीदें आशाएं आशाएं उम्मीदें आशाएं उम्मीदें आशाएं कुछ पाने की हो आस आस कुछ अरमानो जो खास खास आशाएं हर दरिया में हो बार बार कर दरियाओं को आर पार आशा है तूफानों को चिर के मंजिलों को चिर ले हो आशा है खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी जन्नत से मुलाकात हो पूरी हो तेरी हर दुआ आशा है खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी हो आशा है खिले दिल की उम्मीदें हंसे दिल की अब मुश्किल नहीं कुछ भी नहीं कुछ भी
Let's give another hand for Ragapella. Each year, the Asian American Activity Center Advisory Board has the privilege of recognizing some of the most outstanding leaders in the Stanford community. It is their passion, dedication, and commitment that have shaped the API community at Stanford to be as vibrant, caring, and active as it is.
While the accomplishments of our recipients are great, they certainly could not have done it alone. All of you in attendance today have demonstrated yet again your involvement in and support of the issues and concerns of our community. Together, all of us add to the rich and diverse university that is Stanford. In addition, Before you are other members of our community who have been recognized by their peers and advisors for their great work and were also nominated for awards this year. Please give a round of applause for these individuals.
Congratulations again to everyone who helped make tonight's event possible and whose talent and dedication serve as an inspiration to all of us. We know that each of you will continue to do wonderful things here at Stanford and beyond. We would now like to invite all of the award recipients to the stage to take a group photo. Please allow our photographers to take pictures, and then all will be welcome to share in this momentous occasion. Thank you, everyone, for your continued support. We hope to see you again at the Stanford Asian American Awards next year. Good night.